Ladies and gentlemen, today we have with us on the show Women Leaders in PetChem series of Insights with Nidhi Varma, a duo of dynamic young ladies from Parik Plast and Vitus Fizz. Pooja Dhanukar, Director, Marketing and Corporate Affairs, Parik Plast, and co-founder, Vitus Fizz, and Saloni Gia Mehta, co-founder, Vitus Fizz. Pooja is a double master's in MSc International Management and Political Science from the London School of Economics. A very warm welcome to the both of you.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us today.
Pooja, we'll begin with you first.
Sure.
You friends formed Parik Plast, and it started in a garage 3.5 decades back. And now we have over 700 employees organization with 4 plants, renowned rigid packaging company in India. About 12 years back, when you entered the factory with about 300 men, workers looking at you, uncertain, owners, foreign returned younger daughter, what do you think that they were thinking? What efforts did you make? What route you followed to win their confidence so that they saw you as one of them and not as the boss lady?
So it's been a long journey from the time I began in 2008. Yes, when I entered the first day, I was the owner's daughter. I was the young girl who had just got out of college and come to start taking up her father's shoes. And this was a perception, I'm sure, that was running through most of the men there. I think it took many years. I think it took a lot of open-mindedness. It took a lot of learning. I was there, I was ready to learn, I was ready to be part of the team. This was, I did not come from a plastic engineering background. I came from a management background. So I did have some grassroots learning to do. Of course, I've seen Parik Plus grow as I was growing up. I've been there for internships through my college, but this was my first step in as a professional. And I needed the help of team members across the organization to fit in. And over the years, I believe I've grown and found my space within the team, within the organization. I don't think they need to look at me as boss lady today. I'm a team member for them, and I'm still learning. I think we learn every day of our lives. And this is what, and so today when I sit at a table of our managers and when we take strategic decisions, I'm no longer looked at as my father's daughter. I am who I am. I am Pooja. I am part of the organization, and yes, that's where I come from now.
Well said. Pooja, as the first generation, I know from my experience that we take our decisions based on emotions, gut feel, majorly based on relationships. Cut to enters the second generation entrepreneur, armed with best training across the world in education. How you strategically have changed the way decisions are made in the organization now?
So yes, I think first-time entrepreneurs have the zeal, the zest, and sometimes the impulse to take a lot of decisions very quickly. Not often are facts and figures given as much importance as gut feel is given. So yes, I did bring in that angle of let's take a step back. Let's have a look at what impact is our decision making going to make to the numbers going forward. Or when we're selecting between A or B option, let's go back, look at the numbers. Even if your gut feel is right, I want to go and look at the numbers first and be rest assured before I put my yes in. So that was something that I brought in. I won't say that that first generation entrepreneurs have their gut feel wrong, because more often than not, they're right. Um, and if I would say that, I think, my dad has a very favorite line. He says, just because you're an MBA, mane baddu avre che, doesn't mean,
Carol G is definitely going to be laughing at this one.
that you know everything. And maybe at the back of his head, he comes back with the same conclusion that I would come back after looking at my numbers. But those are two different approaches we take, and we meet midway. to make sure that we take the best decision possible for the company.
May the best decision be implemented. Okay. Pooja, Parik Blast was more focused on the paint industry initially. What steps have you taken to diversify the customer portfolio, and what thought process has gone behind when you were adding new customer categories to Parik Blast bag?
So we have diversified into industries such as pharmaceutical packaging, food packaging, dairy, chemicals, etc. Going ahead, our focus is also going to be a lot on pharmaceutical and consumer goods. The idea was that we wanted to work towards products which are differentiated, which bring more value to the customer. Paints is our forte, it will always be there. But we also wanted to grow into products where there is there's more technological advancement. So that's on the product side. In terms of clients, I felt over the years, as we were growing, there was a long tail of clients. Yes, we did have a couple of large companies and big accounts, but the balance was a long tail. And over the last few years, we have worked towards selecting which customers we want on board, what is the minimum ticket size that I want to look at, what is the kind of credit rating that we want to look at for each client before we take them on. And we have picked and chosen and modified our list accordingly. And I believe we have a healthy basket, if I could say, of a mix of clients across different industries.
Thanks for sharing that with us, Pooja. You got married and then was blessed with Ahan in 2016. What
Yes.
changes you made in your work so as to balance the work life, prioritizing your new responsibilities and role as a mother, a wife, and more in the family?
So having a child is a blessing, and especially in the initial few years, it's very important for the mother to spend as much time as possible with the baby. But when you're a working mom, it becomes a challenge from day one. I got back to working when Ahan was 3 months old. I would bring him to office with me, and he was there with me throughout till he started kindergarten. But there was always this pull between being a mother and being a full-time businesswoman. And I think I felt I was not giving justice to both sides. So early on, we decided that we would want to have a CEO in our company. We were anyways working in the last few years to professionalize the company at various levels. So we have VP operations under them, we have plant managers, we have a CFO, we have a purchase head. And these are all professionals who come from very good experience in their own backgrounds. And then we did hire a CEO, and he comes from a lot of experience in Asian Paints and Marico for the 14, 15 years. And then I handed over my day-to-day responsibilities to him. And I participate more in the strategic decision-making, in the expansion plans, or in the financial structuring bits of Parik Blast. I feel that was the way that I could give time to my family and justify the role that I was taking on in Parik Blast. We were a growing company. We added a new plant after my son was born. And these things could not be done if I could not give it my 100%.
I think the professional balance by family-owned businesses, the mix of both is the perfect, I think the reason for a company to succeed. Because I've seen very many family-owned businesses in our verticals, which do not give too much weightage to, professionals coming on board. They just leave the operations to them. So I think one of the reasons of success could be a very beautiful balance of professionals that you've brought into your organization.
Absolutely.
Pooja, what USPs you think that as a woman leader you bring to the table, which assist you and help you excel in becoming the leader of your organization?
As a woman, I think yes, of course, we do say we're more empathetic and we listen more than when someone says something to us. which is true. But as a woman leader, it is important to define a balance between what I will be willing to hear, what I will be willing to respond to. Uh, and it's not just a woman leader. I think here the complication is that being a woman leader and being moving from being the daughter of the owner to working as a woman leader, and that perception change which came along, uh, and that could only come when the people who are sitting across you, who are mostly men, are sure that you have something to contribute, that you have something positive to bring to the table. Um, as a woman, what you bring to the table is that uh, you're easier to work with, is what I feel. I feel women are more open to suggestions. Women are more open to feedback. Uh, we don't always jump to conclusions as quickly. We take that one step back, think about it a little more open-minded, and then maybe come back with a response. We may not always agree with you, but we may disagree in a more gentle manner, and which might be easier to convince the person sitting across you.
We may agree to disagree.
Yes.
Excellent. Yes, I totally agree with what you've said. Pooja, you've traveled the world and you've studied overseas. What's your viewpoint on why women are few in numbers in our industry in India?
Um, I think there are two broad reasons. One reason would be that the pet chem industry in general is not something which always attracts women, as there are very few women who would want to, say, I want to go and study plastic engineering, or I want to go and study about chemical engineering. But yes, those are there. But it doesn't always seem like an obvious choice for women. So I think for more women to be there in our industry, the awareness needs to come from our education level. When we're maybe at the school level or the college level, where you're exposed to more number of choices within this industry. Also, there are various areas in which women can contribute. They don't necessarily need to be an engineer to be part of this industry. It could be a managerial role, it could be a role in marketing, it could be a role in finance, or HR, even if you're not a chemical engineer, to be part of this industry. And I think there needs to be more awareness of that, which will help women to select this also as an industry choice that they would want to take up.
Very well said. I think this message can go across, and more girls, when they are initially choosing their profession or their vertical they want to excel in, can be benefited by your viewpoint. Pooja, I wanted to always ask you that, do you think your personal goals and passions, do they get deprioritized between work and between family, which would apparently take away most of your time?
So my passion is traveling. My husband and I both love to travel and see a lot, and balance work and travel together. And we've been able to do that over the last few years. Bringing a child into the world, we felt that may take a back seat, but in fact not. We've traveled with him since he was 2 months old across the world, and had a blast. So so I think the key to this was that I made my child a part of whether it was my work or my passion, my traveling, and that way I've been able to balance across both areas.
So now I'm visualizing Pooja as a kangaroo, and she's got Ahan in her pouch, and where he's coming across to the factory and he's traveling across when he's 3 months old. So
Absolutely.
our third generation is really well trained right from the womb.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. It's so heartwarming to hear that. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we warmly welcome the second young Turk, Saloni Ghia Mehta. She has a master's degree in luxury retail management from the International University of Monaco and a certification from Cornell University in marketing strategy. Very warm welcome again, Saloni. And I'm very happy to hear I'm talking to someone first time who has a degree in luxury retail management.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
Excellent. Together, Pooja and Saloni have conceptualized and formed a new venture called Vitus Fizz in October 2020. I think that would be in the lockdown, I guess, which offers nutrition health drinks. With the entire world now focusing on immunity and health, what a perfect timing for the startup in nutraceuticals. How did you really go about thinking of launching this startup? Saloni, will begin with you.
So I think it really came from at what point we were in our life and what we were seeing around us. Um, Pooja and I have always wanted to find, a common thread to work together, bring both our passions and our experiences together. And we realized that, as we were kind of moving through life, that in the process of being working mom for Pooja or just a working professional and balancing life and family and everything, a lot of people end up putting their own health on the backseat. As women, when we go to doctors and we're given 15 different prescriptions or supplements and vitamins to have, we don't really, we may have it from the first day, but then we forget all about it and everything else that we do in life. And I think this is very similar for men as well. They have different stresses in life. So really we end up putting our health in the backseat. The idea for Vitus Fizz came from the fact that we wanted to find a solution. We wanted to find something that could help people bring a little bit of healthfulness and well-being and mindfulness back in their life, give it to them in a convenient manner that makes it easy to be part of your routine, and really help them find a solution for a particular health, nutrition, well-being problem that they're facing. With my background in communications and public relations, and Pooja's background in management and everything that she does with Parik Plast, we felt that this was really a good fit for both our passions and both our experiences to come together. And that's how we started it.
I saw the website of Vitus Fizz, and I could see two products. One was vitamin C, and the other one had collagen and biotin and glutathione, and which you're all offering in a very easy to kind of a capsule and put it in water and just take it in. I know that how I have my vitamins and my collagens and biotins, we have those small plastic boxes, which I asked my housekeeper to fill in the capsules in every weekend and then have it separately. I think this could be even such a convenient method to take all the nutrients inside easily.
Right. So for each of our products, we put a lot of thought behind the formulation of the product, what it means for someone. Is it truly solving a problem for them, or giving them a solution that's easy to take? We started with doing our research in Germany. So we did all of our R&D there. We have doctors on board who came to ensure that, the daily nutrition values are taken care of. And so the products that you mentioned, even the one that, that's the immunity one, it's more than just vitamin C. It's an overall health and well-being, a multivitamin product. So, we were trying to solve the problem that now with COVID times, people have started taking immunity boosters. But then you also have your vitamin B tablet, you have your vitamin D, we have all of these deficiencies. So this is sort of an all-in-one that actually has all these extra additional vitamins as well. So you don't take multiple tablets, you're taking one and you're taking care of immunity and overall health and well-being. And then similarly with the second one, like you said, we've heard from so many people about collagen, biotin, glutathione. Everyone's taking separate powders or tablets. And so this is really the first of its kind formulation that has all these three in one. So all you do is just take this, drop this one tablet in a glass of water, have it once a day, and you're taking care of your daily needs for all of your skin and hair and nails. And, so it's kind of an all-in-one skincare.
Wonderful. I think coming from a woman's table, you exactly need what all of us women need. And you're giving it to us at like a small tablet on palm of our hand to just swallow it down with water, and we are good for the day.
Right. Pretty much try to make it as easy as possible to make sure you stay as healthy as possible.
Super duper. But Saloni, I found your background of the decade very interesting. Please share with our viewers, how has the exciting journey been? You've been overseas, having different stints with startups and branding, majorly global brands.
Absolutely. So as you rightly said, I have a master's in luxury retail management from the International University of Monaco. And I actually kickstarted my career working in the communications office for Gucci in India. So I worked at the Gucci headquarters here, and it was a lovely experience to really, work with a global brand and start my communications journey with them. After that, I also did work with Estee Lauder companies, working for their flagship Estee Lauder brand, launching flagship stores and products products, kind of understanding how Indian consumers perceive luxury products and aspirational products and how they work with our mindset and the right promotional mix for them. So that was the initial phase of my career. But I've always also been interested in healthcare. That's always been at the back of my mind. So when I moved to the US, which I moved about 6 or 7 years ago, I kind of shifted gears. Communications has always stayed constant. That is my passion. Storytelling and communications is my passion. And so when I moved to healthcare, I continued working in that. So while I was in the US, I worked with global healthcare companies like Johnson & Johnson, Boston Scientific, Abbott, working across various segments for their cardiac products, urology products, and really understanding how healthcare communications works. So that's a little bit about my background. And then when I moved back to India and we decided to start Whitest Fizz, I thought this was the perfect way to really utilize all my experience and put that communication and passion for storytelling into this brand that we're creating.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure that you've been trained so well with the kind of background that you have kind of married what the demand is in the market right now and been quick to turn it around with the help of packaging from your parent company to provide the offering to the market exactly at the nick of the time when we all need it. Excellent. Very well then. Thank you so much for giving us the time and sharing your views with your audience. Here we have two empowered women, powerful beyond measure and beautiful beyond description. Thank you so much. We are going to be closely watching both the companies and going to be part of the journey with both of you. More power to women. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you so much for having us on your show. Thanks, Nidhi.